So, hi, I'm Bernie Collins. I'm head of race strategy. I've been working for Aston Martin since 2015, I think, so 6 years now. Always sort of in a strategy type role. We're here in Hungary doing the track walk. It's a nice sunny day. We're doing it with Sebastian, so we need to keep the pace up because otherwise we'll get left behind. I started doing, I done engineering at university, so I did mechanical engineering, and then I joined McLaren as part of their engineering graduate scheme, working sort of mainly in the office there, and then I've gradually progressed to do more and more trackside activities to now basically full-time travelling. Yeah, so like I mentioned, I'm head of race strategy. And that means that there's a team of people that work with me in order to get the best out of the car each weekend. Try and get, obviously we're trying to get the best results for both drivers and the team, try and maximise our championship position. So that involves one of us, normally me, at the track, and then sort of 3 or 4 people back in mission control. So they're always based in the UK, but sort of following the sessions live in the right time zone. So it could be the middle of the night in the UK. And they do a lot of a lot of work behind the scenes and a lot of like information gathering and feeding that to me at the track. So obviously the communication and the comms are really important. But they do things like traffic management, advice on when we should do a pit stop, advice on what they think we should do with safety cars, and feed all that information into the central person in order to make the overall decision. But that's sort of a group of people. Now, some people work specifically on one car or the other, but the majority of us work, as a team across both cars to try and get the best result. Obviously, in the run-up to the weekend, we spend quite a lot of time, analysing what we think is going to happen. Hungary we've been to quite a few years. We start to look at things like the weather, what we think the track temperature would be. So yeah, we sort of bring all that information together to plan what we think our weekend will look like in terms of strategy, how we think the tyres will be, what we think the best strategy will be on Sunday in order to make sure we've got the right tyres now even for that. And yeah, sort of feed all that in together and hopefully have a good race result at the end of it.
The marshal, the one thing I was going to flag up because I realised as we came around turn 4.
Yeah. Yeah, the pit crew are obviously very vital to our weekend. They're really the heart of the race. Everyone's involved. We've got quite big numbers actually involved in the pit crew. So you've got 3 people in each corner doing, one does wheel off, one does gun, and one does wheel on. You've got crew at the front and the back of the car doing the jacks. So there's a jack man and a spare jack. And then at the front you've got the front jack operators, but you've also got people doing front wing adjust. So it's actually quite a big crew that you end up with. And then you've got some other people in the background, again, just looking at that data to make sure that everything's going okay. So the next bit that I do when I'm out here is actually really difficult because I've never done a pit stop. But I try and watch and observe and see if there's like little issues that are going wrong, Is the car lifting enough? Is someone slightly out of position or at risk of tripping up? Is someone doing something that like slightly imbalanced or slightly difficult for them? And then just try and give some guidance or help or sort of some suggestions. Often we'll go through the videos afterwards and say, this looks a little bit awkward or that, because you want the whole crew to be as safe as they can and comfortable in what they're doing. You might have seen earlier they do their warm-up and stuff beforehand, but just try and give a bit of advice. But like I say, that's really hard when you've never done a pit stop. So pit stop practice is finished now, and we're going to scoot inside and get the report done so that the crew can have a look at that tonight. But that's pretty much us done for today, so I'll catch up with everyone Friday when some action actually happens on the track. Morning everyone, so we're here, sunny Budapest, it's Friday, and yeah, this is when we start to get some track action. It's the first time that we're going to see the cars running, in these sort of temperatures. This weekend we get to check our tyre model, check things like our pit loss today, and hopefully we just confirm what we think the strategy is going to be for the rest of the weekend. We get a first look at what our pace or the pace of our competitors is going to be, and roughly set in place a plan for qualifying and a plan for the rest of the weekend really. So before we do anything else, I think it's time to treat ourselves to a little cup of tea. So I'll speak to you later. Bye. So this is FP2 now, still very hot and sunny conditions here in Budapest. This is actually the closest section that we get to race conditions, so the track's about the right temperature, the wind's going to be very similar. So this is where we do all of our learning for the weekend. And you know, there's a chance that tomorrow might be wet, so we need to learn as much as we can right now and sort of make the most of today. We'll also do things like check our pit loss. Now's the time to do that during our long runs. But right now, it's time for me to go and get ready for my video checks. So this is the panel that I use for all the communication during the race. Obviously communication is really important between myself and the country. I've got various channels. Obviously the most important is the strategy channel, so that I can discuss with the guys about conditions, so what we think we're going to do next and how we think the session and the race is going. So that's FP2 done for us. We've learned hopefully quite a lot, or hopefully everything we need about the tyres and what we might like to do in qualifying tomorrow. But the biggest thing is what we do in the race, because obviously that's where all our points we need. We've got a few good pit stops in, so we've learned a little bit more about how long it takes us to drive through the pit lane, and the guys have got a bit of like proper live practice with the car leaving afterwards as well. Also the drivers have had a chance to run through it. So now it's time that we head off and get the debrief done and take as much away from the session as we can. A long night ahead of prepping for tomorrow and getting ready for anything the weather or the track can throw at us. Thanks, guys. Hi guys, so we've just finished qualifying. Bit of an interesting session with a mix of soft and medium runners in Q2 as we expected. We sort of elected just to run the soft and try and qualify as well as we did. So we've got one car inside the top 10, so that's that start tyre set, soft for tomorrow. Got one car outside the top 10, so that'll be quite interesting. A lot of work tonight to check what tyre we should start on, how that's going to go. So we'll end up potentially with reasonably different strategies across the two of them. Obviously stayed dry, so let's see what the weather forecast for tomorrow brings. I think maybe hot temperatures again, but let's see. Thanks.